Give it up for Oli!
Thank you, Pep. It's probably an unhealthy obsession with landing pages. I mean, some obsessions are sexy or appropriate. Mine's not really. It's kind of lame, but someone has to do it. Because like Pep says, I click on every link I see. Like every link, every email link, every paid ad. If you're doing paid advertising, by the way, I've probably put your ad budget up because of all the clicking I do. But I do it to see what marketing's like. What is the state of marketing today? And it's terrible. So it's a kind of a hard job because I get to look at ugly shit all day long. That's why I created the landing page rehab program. Now, before I get started, what do I mean by bad marketing, these bad marketing experiences? Well, I've been in 5 cities in the last 2 weeks speaking, and wherever I go, I like to search for something relevant and local to see how the local marketers are doing their jobs. So let's start. Let's rewind 2 weeks to New York. Rooftop bars in New York City, that's what I was interested in. So I get this ad, looks pretty good. Rooftop bar in Midtown Manhattan. So I click on that. And I get the Nou Camp Stadium in Barcelona. Okay, that's a little bit further than I was wanting to go. Maybe just a cab ride. So they've lost me here, right? Even if you're a football fan and you knew this was coming up, it's not what I was asking for.
Bullshit.
Oh, funny story. I'll have to replay that.
Bullshit.
So at the New York event, we were doing lunch. We had lunches that were going to come in. And a funny thing happened. Well, it's funny in hindsight. The truck bringing the food crashed. We actually said, photo it didn't happen, right? Maybe they're hungover and they just didn't make the food. But this is the back of the truck. Nobody was injured, but we had no food for lunch. So our CMO, Jeremy's like, oh shit, okay. And he runs to the local pizza place and orders pizza for everybody. This is his phone. Just look down the bottom. This is his wife, Beth. Did you just order about $700 in pizza? Yes, but actually you did. He used her credit card. So it didn't cost us anything. So, moving on to the next stop, which was Toronto. But now, because of this thing, I'm like, okay, I'm going to search for food trucks in Toronto. So, Toronto Food Truck Catering, I get this ad again. I just click on it. And nothing about food trucks. I mean, they did get the rooftop bar, so I'm like, okay, there's a connection to New York here. Something's going right, but
bullshit.
Still, not what I was looking for. Next stop, Chicago. There's a river. Okay, so I'll do a riverboat tour. This looks like a really good ad. I click on this one. It says at the top, what does it say here? A division of smart destinations. Clearly not a division of smart websites.
Bullshit.
Again, there's a trend here, clearly. So, we're coming to Estonia. I'm like, we're staying in a spa. This is great. So I do some research for spas. Now, I did click on their ad. I'm not going to embarrass them by doing it here. I thought I'll click on the competition. I click on this one, 5-star spa and wellness and resort. It looks beautiful. I'm like, okay, finally, someone has given me something I actually want. Yeah, but that's the problem. It's in fucking Austria.
Bullshit.
Austria, that's not. So all this marketing, it's sick, and I don't mean sick awesome. I mean sick, unwell. So it needs to go through rehab. And step 1 of rehab is admitting that you actually have a problem. Now, rehab's expensive. So you can either pay a lot of money to go through rehab, or you can get a password. Now, it's kind of a, what's the word? A thing we do. Anyone that's gone through rehab gets given a secret password that they can then give on to someone else so they can go through rehab. So I reached out to some people who have been through before so they could share the password with you.
Some quackable. The Sam Quadal. The Sam Schwaldo.
And some Guadalajara.
Like, how do you put DLP together? The Sam Quadal. In Sam Quadal. National Wallet Boom. In Sam Quadal. The Sam Quadal.
Michael wants to fight someone. So you can just remember that. It's dead simple. That's the password. That'll gain you entry. Or you can remember, never start a marketing campaign without a dedicated landing page. That's what I'm going to talk about today. Maybe that's easier to remember. Okay, look at this guy. He's staring at a giant wall of skulls. This is an exhibit called horror vacui, which is Latin for fear of empty spaces. And it's an affliction that designers, marketers, and most specifically stakeholders have. It's something they can't control. And it leads to experiences like this. Now, the only redeeming quality of this page is that lovely bit of white space there. And then a stakeholder sees that, and what do they do? They put a fucking banner in it. That's so step 2 is giving the gift of simplicity. Like people have been talking earlier about distractions and removing this stuff. I'm going to get into more depth about what it actually means and why you should be doing it. But this is step number 2. Because of things like this, I mean, you can't really see, this is the same page. This is all the stuff you can do on the page. Now, so the attention ratio here is 82:1. Quick poll, because I have to ask this every time. Before you came in here today, put your hand up if you knew what attention ratio was. Okay, that's about like 10%. Okay, good. Not going to be boring you at this point. It's the ratio of the number of things you can do on a given page to the number of things you should be doing. And with a marketing campaign, and that's what I'm talking about, marketing campaigns. Okay, there's only ever one goal. Again, Noah mentioned that earlier. It's download an ebook, register for a webinar, start a free trial of getvero.com, email software, or request a callback for a consultation. There's one goal. So in this case, there are 81 things fighting for attention and leaking people away from what you want them to do. Let's look at a couple of tests that show why attention ratio is important. So on the left here, downloading an ebook is the conversion goal. And then there's some helpful links down here to other stuff you might like, which is well-meaning design, right? Trying to be helpful. Tested against this one, 1-to-1, 31% lift, just by removing that well-intentioned set of helpful links. Here's a case study actually from VWO's site, where, classic example, here we have some navigation. Take it away. I mean, it's still 4-to-1. This is a mindset. You're trying to get to 1-to-1. You're not always going to get there. It's just where you should be going. Double the click-through rate just by removing those things that aren't related to the campaign goal. Now, am I saying you should take the navigation off your website? No, not at all. Your website is for organic traffic. It needs to be like that. But for a marketing campaign, you need to have a dedicated experience just for that campaign goal. As attention ratio goes down, your conversion rates go up. But then that's when the stakeholder comes along. And they're like, well, no, you're putting out a campaign. Can you just talk about my thing as well? Like just give me a little bit of space. So here, this is a landing page course I wrote. And I'm going to test putting a link right next to it. Okay? So this is based on a principle that I heard Bart Schutz talk about. It's the Hobson's +1 choice effect, where people like to make a successful decision. If they do, like 2 things to do, they do one, they feel good, that's a good thing. We want people to feel good. So here, this is free course, just click through, or sign up for a free trial of Unbounce, which is kind of aggressive. It's a big ask at this point. And what happened? 14% less people clicked the button because there was a scary link next to it. One extra link, one stakeholder pacified, and it's killing the campaign. Now I thought, oh, maybe everybody's clicking that link and they're signing up for Unbounce. That would be amazing. I will put up with people not doing the course if they become customers. 2,000 people went through this test. And 1 person became a customer. So don't be tempted. Don't let someone mislead you or lead you into doing the wrong thing. Now there are some exceptions. Multiple links with the same goal. So here's that course page again, and there's a table of contents here. These all take you inside. They have the exact same goal. They do the exact same thing. That's okay. So I'm increasing the amount of attention placed on the thing I want you to do. So this is reversing it and doing it correctly. 15% lift in getting people into the course that way. The other exception is when you have anchor navigation. So here's a page for our next conference, and it has the anchor nav that just pushes you down the page. That's fine, again, because it's keeping you within the campaign experience. That's okay. Number 3, understand the role design plays. And I don't mean pretty pictures. I mean actual fundamental design principles that you can use to create a more meaningful, impactful, and persuasive experience. Take a look at this phrase here. Design rules. Those are the rules of design. Change the emphasis. Design rules. Design is awesome. Little bit of an emphasis change, completely different meaning. This is visual hierarchy. This is using different design principles to let people know what's important and the order that you should be consuming something on a page. Now, I have 23 principles of attention-driven design. I'll go through just a couple of them. So encapsulation. Now, you can't really see it. It's really low contrast, but there are a lot of dots on this page. By wrapping them up, they're now the most important thing on the page. Can't really see it there. Here, proximity. This is the most important one, I think. I'll talk about this a lot. By being in close proximity to this, they're now perceived to have a relationship. So this is all collectively important. And then grouping. These are 5 different elements. But because they're placed together, again, there's a perception that they're related. So these might just be informationally related items. So this e-com example. Up here, it's kind of messy. There's lots of information. It's just kind of farted onto the page there. But here, you're going to use 3 design principles to rearrange this and make it a better experience. So first, we have grouping. All of the meta or the data types of information, the price, the rating, all of that kind of stuff, the interactive elements, are grouped together in close proximity to the CTA, and then they're wrapped up, encapsulated. So we know that this is this type of information, and we have a description there. 10% lift. And it helps when you understand the principles. So you're not just going, I think we should do this. You're going, well, if we use principle and do that, we can apply something with meaning, and that can actually have an impact. Now, I was booking a flight to go to Vegas a month ago, and so this, I'm going to just change directions. This can apply to not just your landing pages, your website, anything in your app, anything you're doing. If you see something that's a crappy experience, you can use these principles to fix it. Now, this was a shitty experience I was having trying to book a flight, and I would have gone to Expedia if I wasn't forced to use this software because it's a work thing we have. Now, I didn't like this. These buttons all crammed together there. There's a lot of things, there's a lot of opportunity for mistake here, so I'm going to fix this using 5 of these ADD principles. So first, I'm just going to break them apart using some white space. Now it's less likely I'll click on the wrong one by mistake because they're close together. Order them. We're supposed to be going this direction. That's the flow in this booking process. So put confirm on this side, so I'm going that way. Add a directional cue. Now I don't actually really have to read it because I know by looking at it that it's pointing me in this direction. Dominance. So we don't want people to cancel. I don't know why they have this in here. Maybe they need it, but make that less important. So now the emphasis is on these guys. And then finally affordance, which is how much something indicates how it's used by how it's designed. So in this case, a ghost button is still kind of buttony, but it's not as buttony. So now we have the right visual hierarchy for a good experience. So that's visual hierarchy. Even more important is information hierarchy. And just remember this very one simple thing. Copy informs design, not the other way around. When you're doing a campaign, you have your campaign goal, then you should write your campaign copy, and then, and only then, design an experience that communicates it visually. So get your story in order before you tell it. I'm going to read this. A quote from Man Stabbed. What are you going to do, stab me? That makes sense. It's in the right order. If you flipped it, what are you going to do, stab me? Quote from Man Stabbed. It's not as clear because the information is in the wrong order. And this is really, really common. I see this on, I don't know, 5% of pages I look at, the order of like the header and the subhead is wrong. Here's some examples. Here's Qualaroo. Wasting time with CRO. I'm wasting time with your headline, to be honest. But underneath here, the subhead, run smarter tests, get results faster, and find bigger wins with Qualaroo. That's where all the clarity is. It's really, really common. I mean, just look on any page in your site. If you have header, subhead, read the subhead. I bet you put more clarity there. Because subheads are an aid for clarity, but it shouldn't be the only thing that's clear. Here's another example from These are all like SaaS companies. Hootsuite. Speed up your social media today. Again, it's not telling me anything, but here, schedule posts and manage all your social media profiles using one login. Again, that's where all the benefit is. And HubSpot, meaningless, but see how HubSpot can help you grow traffic, leads, and sales. Just look at your pages and see if you're making that mistake, because it's really, really common. And I don't mean just flip it. I mean, sometimes that'll work, but just look where the good information is, and maybe bring that into your headline so it's stronger. Uber. Now, they've clearly seen one of the case study blog posts where if you take a model and you take someone, you look at the thing, then we look at the thing, and that's what's happening here. So the line of sight, I'm going to the top of the form here, sign up to drive. That's not really telling me anything. Sign up to drive what? Okay, I'm going the wrong direction. Then here, and finally, I get to the headline. What they should have done is have her do this. So she's looking down at the headline. Now, this is what side of the road do you drive on in Estonia? So the same as North America? Okay, because if she was in Estonia, she's not giving anyone a ride because she's getting in the passenger side of the car. So I'm getting back to this course page. I'd optimized the hell out of it. I couldn't get any more lift. So I took a look at it from an information hierarchy standpoint. And you're kind of doing this. You're wiggling around. And whenever you go from one type of information to another, your brain has to go, oh, this is different. What's that about? And if you do that a lot, that's a lot of cognitive stress. You're not going to feel it. You're not going to like freak out. But it's these little things. So I thought, okay, I'm going to make this linear. Redesigned it quite radically, and now it's just a linear process here. The correct hierarchy of information is zigzags in the middle, but that's okay because it's a table of contents. It's the same type of information when I'm doing the zigzagging. So this is much, much nicer. And a good way of seeing if you need to do this, print out your page and read it out loud while walking around, because then you'll hear la la la, story, story, story. Ooh, why am I saying that here? I should say it there. And you'll get a sense of what order your story should actually be told in. That had a really good lift. I want to share, I showed you that text from earlier. I want to share a little conversation here. This guy, so how was the date last night? First date, we went to dinner, then walked her home, then I killed her in the woods outside her house and left. Killing her seems a bit harsh. Did you order the lobster at dinner? Clearly there's an autocorrect problem going on there. And the point is, what we say and what others hear is often two completely different things. Here are a couple of examples.
Excuse me while I kiss this guy. There's a bad moon on the right. Sparing his life from this monstrosity. On the close up time to dance.
Or,
On the close up time to dance.
a bit more relevant to Elton there, I think.
Doesn't make a difference if we make it or not. How do I get you alone?
Car insurance or something.
It's a death row pardon, 2 minutes too late.
Not sure that's what she had in mind. Fine.
It's like rain on your wedding day.
Good luck getting that out of your head for the rest of the day. A little bit of Canada for you. There was a... Disney, they had a site for a movie targeted at 8-year-old children, because it was that kind of movie. And they noticed a really high number of people clicking the forgot password link on the site. They're like, what's going on? So they go into the database and they see that the passwords contained up to 40 letters and numbers. It's like really, really long. Like, why is this happening? So they go, well, let's go to the source. What were these kids asked to do when they chose their password? Passwords must contain at least 6 characters. So we've got, it's kind of hard to remember. So how do you know when you have a clarity problem? I like to do this. Go to Usability Hub and run a 5-second test. It's really simple, really cheap, and really easy. So what you do is you take your landing page, you upload a screenshot, it gets flashed in front of people for 5 seconds, comes down, then you ask a question, like, what was this page about? Then you get 20 answers. It's just a quick qualitative data gathering. So here's a landing page from Full Sail. I love their landing pages, they're great, but this one I thought was a bit lacking in clarity. 2 important things here. It's an internet marketing course, and it's a master's degree. Those are the 2 key pieces. If you're searching for internet marketing master's courses, when you get here, you want those 2 things to be confirmed really quickly. So I went to Usability Hub, and I said, what course was offered on this page? 50% got it right. That's pretty good. It's just qualitative. You see the other answers around you. You get a lot of people saying, what the fuck, and I have no clue. But that's pretty good. Then I said, what certification level was it? Only 5% got it right. So there's a clarity problem. People don't know, and they're going to leave. A portion of people, the impatient visitors, are going to leave. So I rejigged it. I thought this was actually quite good. Earn your internet marketing master's degree in 12 months. That's pretty clear. So I made that really big and repeated it over there. Asked again. Now, 45% got the first one right. You're going to get that. You're going to get some variance because it's qualitative. That's okay. It's close. So I'm happy with that. But the second one, 12 times the number of people got that right. So now the clarity is way, way better on this page. It's a really good way of just quickly seeing if you have a problem and doing a gut check kind of fix. I mean, now you need to, A/B test that and make sure that it's actually impacting conversions, but it's a nice tactic to use to figure out how to make things better. If you're doing lead gen, we can talk about quite a bit of that today. The foundation of your page is your form. What is your form actually saying to people? Well, most of the time, very little. Keep me informed about what? Need more information? Yes. Tell me what I'm supposed to be doing here. And download what? Okay, these aren't telling me anything. How do you fix that? It's very simple. It's a technique I call form first design, which is the idea that you design your form as if it's the only thing on your page. If it can stand in isolation and communicate what it's about, what the page is about, what you're going to get, then it's doing a good job. It's like taking elements of your page and you're just improving them. The last one, we improved the clarity of the headline. This one, we're going to improve the structure of the form. Eventually, your page is going to be way, way better. So just like a page has an anatomy, so does a form. You can break it down like this. You have your headline. This introduces what you're going to get. Like, what's the what? What's this about? What am I going to get out of this? Why do I care? That's a subhead and bullets. That might be a bit too much copy, but you can just mix and match those. And your form, your CTA. And then getting back to proximity. Then you have the closer. This is something you put in close proximity to your call to action to inspire, to nudge people into clicking on it. Not a link, seeing that doesn't work. Unless actually it's a link saying, you don't want to do that, do this, and it does the same thing. That might be just a little bit trickery. Here's an example. It's a pretty good form. Stand on its own. Structurally it's nice, but it's not communicating to me really. I just redesign it like this. Put in, so I've got the headline, what, why, skip the bullets, there's the form, the CTA, and a little bit of social proof down there. That's one way you can add a closer to inspire people to take action. I mean, you might have this social proof somewhere else on the page, but if it's not in close proximity to that, then it's not present in my mind at the point of interaction. Very common question, how do I use landing pages for e-com? How many people do e-com here? Pretty good mix. I used to say use them for everything, but it's not true. If you're running ads for a category, just send it to the category. That's fine. If it's a product, send it to the product page. But there are 2 instances where you shouldn't, and you should use landing pages. One, if it's a special offer and you need to get one up quickly, you advertise on the offer and you show it, and then you push people down the funnel. But a smarter technique, something that people aren't doing, and this will help, is to, well, actually, I won't describe it yet. I'll just show you an example. So next day flower delivery, great ad. It talks to what I'm looking for. has a 10% discount. Okay, I'm going to click on this. So think of in terms of context. The context here is flowers, next day delivery, and 10%. 3 things in my context bucket. I click on this. I'm not shocked by this anymore. Every flower site looks like shit. Award winner. I don't give a shit about your award. I just want flowers tomorrow, ideally, with 10% off. So it doesn't say next day anywhere, and it doesn't say 10% off. So you've lost me. But what it does say is same day. I'm like, well, I'm like, oh shit, it's not urgent anymore. I can just come back tomorrow. I'll order the flowers then. I'll be fine. Except if I do that, that changes my search query. Now I'm typing in same day, and I'll get different ads, and you'll find a competitor. So you just lost someone because you didn't speak to my need. So I thought, well, okay, I'll abuse every other site. I'll click on all of their links too. Same day, nothing and nothing. Right? This is a terrible experience. What they should be doing is this: bidding on the unique aspects of your business. So a unique aspect is, I mean, it's not unique because other people have it, but the features, like, so same-day delivery is a feature of your offering. Next day is also locally sourced ingredients, if it's a food thing or something. What are the things that are unique or interesting? Things that, you know, look at, like, do some research into search queries and see which things people are actually searching for that are special to, you know, your business. So in this case, if you'd said next day flower delivery guaranteed, I'm like, okay, they solved that problem. Then this is the correct hierarchy of information. You confirm the intent, and then you push me down the funnel. So in this case, I'd segment by the flower type, or for the dating site, man or woman, whatever it is. And then you push them in, because now I know you can solve my problem. I'm not going to go anywhere else, most likely, because this is an urgent thing. I'm just going to continue with you. So this is how you should be doing landing pages for e-com. We all read blog posts with case studies, and case studies are great for inspiration, but that's all. You can't just blindly copy them. Here's an example. This is the landing page course again. Now, I did some qualitative research, a little Qualaroo pop-up widget saying, why aren't you taking the course? And a lot of people said time. I'm like, So then I go, I read a case study about that. This is from Michael Lagarde. It's an ebook download, and by putting in only takes 25 minutes to read, you got more people downloading it because it removes that anxiety of effort. Right? So I'm thinking, well, this is the exact same thing. So again, proximity. I put this here. Each lesson takes less than 30 minutes. Thinking, because I'm just copying and implementing exactly what he did. 17% dip in conversions. Now, that doesn't mean my hypothesis is incorrect. It means I implemented it wrongly, badly, poorly, whatever it is. So don't stop. I mean, don't just go like, oh, it doesn't work. It's not a time thing. The data says it is a time thing. So find another way to do it. Maybe I need to say 20 minutes or 15 minutes. And if that works, then I go like, okay, well, that's a lie. So now I have to make my course shorter. But at least I'm using the learning in a smart way. How many form fields should you have on your form? We heard earlier, like, you know, a question about that. The conversion rate will change if you have more or less form fields. You don't know. You'll be surprised somehow how it changes. And sometimes you want to increase the friction to get better quality leads, and I'll talk about that in a second. We did some preliminary research on this. This is just the start of what we're going to do, but this is data taken from 40,000 active landing pages inside Unbounce in February. And this is the average conversion rate along here, and that's the conversion rate, and this is the number of form fields. Fun fact 1, 97 form fields on this guy over here, and he's still converting at 8%. That's a fucking lawyer. The interesting part over here is that 2 form fields, on average, is converting 30% higher than 1 form field. Really interesting. I don't really know why yet. We have to dig into it. It could be because it's more personal. There's a name in there. I mean, that's what most likely it's going to be a name field next to an email. It's just really interesting. It could be that personal angle, or it could be that when it's just an email field, all I'm thinking about is the fact that you're going to email me. One more, maybe it's a little bit of distraction. I don't know. Doesn't mean you should just go away and put an extra form field in? Yes and no. If you do it, it may win, it may not, but if we all do it, it's like poker odds. If we all do it, on average, we'll be ahead. So it's just something to think about. Yeah, and we can dig into that later on as well if we want to talk about it. It's pretty interesting. So I tested it, 1 against 2. Nothing happened. It didn't win, but it didn't lose. So I got extra data just for asking, and there was no harm done. So I might put 3 in next time, and just see. Don't design experiences to acquire customers. Design for ideal customers. It's an important distinction, and it speaks to something that was mentioned earlier on. This is Joel. We were having Beer Friday in our Montreal office. We're Vancouver, Montreal. This guy, it's open house. This guy comes in, has a chat, and then he says, "Oh, I want to apply for one of your customer success positions." I'm like, "Great." We chat about it a bit. He's about to leave. He gives me his resume. And we have a unique hiring process at Unbounce. If you give us your resume, we just delete it or throw it away without looking at it, 100% of the time. What we want you to do is go open a free account and build a landing page to tell us why we should hire you. And what that does, this is like adding form fields. It takes away all the people who are just like making it rain with their CV all over town. And you just get the exceptional people. Here's an example. Oh yeah, so at that point, I took it. Well, after he left, I didn't do it in front of him. That would be really mean. He left. I turned to the team, tore it in half without looking at it, and put it in the recycling. This guy, this is Corey Dilly. He's our director of marketing, campaign something. This is his Facebook page, and some guy was taking out retargeting ads that were hitting our marketing director of marketing. So he could say, "Oh, that's the Unbounce logo. That's weird. I'll click on that. See what's my team doing that I'm not aware of." He clicks on that. Not only did they take out paid ads and build a landing page according to our instructions, you wrote and I downloaded it. It's an actual ebook. It has 10 reasons inside it why we should hire the guy. It's incredible. We didn't hire him. It was really close. So he interviewed well, I should say that. But back to Joel. He has a cat. It's cute. It's nice. He found out the proper way to apply. So he put this page. It's long, but the important part is over here. Check out my blog skills. Now, this is a guy trying to apply for a customer success position. Do support on the phone. It's more than support. It's a much higher level than just support. It's making our customers successful. But this is what he did. He wrote a marketing blog post, and it's pretty good, about our latest feature release, why you should use it as a marketer, and included a CTA to sign up for Unbounce. This is really thoughtful shit. Spent a lot of time on that. So we did hire Joel. Glad that he came back. And then we have some friends, PaySavvy, we use them. They're a company in Vancouver. They're now copying us. Their hiring process is exactly the same. They're doing that. It's really clever. If you have a problem with hiring, or if you want to fire your recruiter and do it all for free, I recommend this. So that's acquiring our ideal, not our ideal customer, our ideal, what are they called when you have people in your employee. But then how do you apply this to business? Okay, here's the course again. Now what I wanted to do, I wanted to try and get more ideal leads. So what I tested was the field label here. Email address. Now what I'm looking for in the data are, I think Chris was talking about it, having real company names in there, not Gmail or things like that. So I'm considering a quality lead, email address, someone who has a professional domain in there, which is great when you do that email thing where you pull out the domain and you're doing that. 39% had professional email addresses. Business email address, 55. Your best email address, 56. So both of these are killing it. Because now when we do email marketing, we're getting into their business inbox. We're talking to them during the day when they're at work, not when they're at home on their private email. Really good strategy for just, getting something that's a bit more ideal and of higher value. I was on someone's blog, and I got to this at the end. So again, proximity. Here's the form, here's the CTA. In close proximity, better results, less money. So am I gonna earn less money or spend less money? I don't know, it's ambiguous. So this is an example of, I don't know, it's like a stop word or a stop phrase or thing. It makes you stop and think, like, what's going on here? Just let that slide speak for itself. If someone, this is again the proximity thing. When someone's about to do this, don't get in the way. We're at a conference. What happens at conferences? You meet people. What do you do when you meet people? You shake their hand. And this is something, I've only seen guys do this, so guys, you're dicks. You go up to meet someone, and you go to shake out their hand, and they say, oh, my hand's wet because I was just in the bathroom washing my hand, and like, I don't need to know that. Now all I'm thinking about is the fact you just had your hand on your... If you'd said nothing, it would have been fine. Here's an example. I was critiquing this page for, it was a startup in Seattle, one of our customers, and right beneath the CTA there, it says, get more done, no gimmicks, no credit card. Well, nobody's used the word gimmicks in 1,000 years. I was like, is this gimmicky? What's weird about this? So I told them, just take it out. It's a silly word, take it out. And they did. They emailed me back 2 months later, and they got 25% lift just by taking that one silly word out. Do this. Print out your page and draw a circle around your call to action, like a couple of inches or 300 pixels or something. See what's inside there. Kittens are good. Words like spam are not. Things that make us stop and think before we take an action. So, I wanted to test this out. And this goes back to something Noah was saying earlier on about how his face, when he puts it in there, actually, works for him. So I did the same thing. The research, again, was telling me that people thought there was a cost, like, how much is this course? Well, it's free. It says it there. It says it somewhere else as well. There. It's a free course. So I'm like, I hope you enjoy this free course. Because I wrote it, right? I mean, it's a personal thing. That's an actual vanity metric. I'm going to put Noah's face in there and see what happens. I was trying to buy some Scorpions tickets on my phone the other day. And I get to this. Again, close proximity. This isn't a call to action, but it's the interactive moment in my life at that point. And in close proximity, it says this. You are forbidden to access this site using an automated program. First of all, if I'm an automated program, I'm not going to read this fucking thing. And you're saying forbidden? That's harsh. Like, why? Why? I mean, first I've got to opt into not being a robot. I don't know what that means. I'm forbidden. This is nasty. This is not delightful. Don't like Ticketmaster. I'm going to StubHub. Here's another example. In this email field thing here, I'll zoom in. We promise we won't spam smiley face. Being sarcastic about my privacy. This is my favorite campaign of all time. This is pure delight. Shreddies. They took Shreddies, rotated them by 45 degrees, made a new product, and sold more. It actually worked. That's brilliant. So the final step, let's make amends for all of this bad stuff by being a bit more delightful. So, like I said, I was in Vegas recently, and I did my whole, like, what's happening in this place search thing. Best pools in Las Vegas hotels. And I went through a ton of them, and they're all really, really bad. Then I got to Mandalay Bay, which is, I've heard, is one of the best on the Strip, so I clicked on that. And the rest of them had pictures of breakfast, all kinds of crap. This one actually has a pool in there. But again, this is chaotic. There's nothing nice about this experience. So I'm going to rewind and apply a bunch of the things that I've talked about to this page. I just mocked something up in Photoshop. So I took this, applied some principles that I'll explain to get that. Now it's seductive. Immediately, by removing distraction, you're making eye contact with these people, and it's kind of, it's now more of a Vegas experience. It's kind of seductive. Contrast, you can see the headline now. You can't see it there. It's terrible. Information hierarchy. I've got their headline, it's crappy, but it's their branding. Then a seductive bit of information here. Get VIP access to the #1 pool in Vegas, and then in close proximity to that, that's the wrong button, there's the CTA, and then I wrap it up, encapsulation. So this is just applying 5 of those principles, and now, I mean, I'm not going to, this is for you, this is not for visitors. So what I did then, I went to Usability Hub again, they have another test, it's a new one, called a preference test. Now this is a quick gut check qualitative thing for gathering information. It's not scientific like A/B testing, it's like A/B, light. And you show them, I said, if you are searching for best pool in Vegas, which would you choose? 95% chose my new one. I mean, I'm pretty badass in Photoshop. But that's just a good signal that I'm going the right direction. Now I would test that. And it's a nice way. Your test might take a long time. So if you have an idea, do a quick mock-up using principles. Don't just change shit because your designer gets horny for something. You know, using these principles, you can do something that means something. If you get a result like that, then actually test it. So very, very quickly, going to go back to these cities and fix all the crap. New York. This time it actually has a rooftop bar. It's not a very nice site, but just a few quick tweaks, taking away the distractions, putting in a nice big CTA that contrasts. This is now more seductive. Very, very simple. Toronto food truck. I clicked on another ad. Now there's a food truck. This is good. We're getting somewhere. But still, it could be better. I personally think that's delightful. I would book that fucking food truck. Okay, to recap everything, I don't know what shape that is, in one slide, just one slide.
That's how I want to pop.
Never start a marketing campaign without a dedicated landing page. Thank you.
Yep. All right. Does the attention ratio always work as a successful metric for landing page success?
Well, I mean, it's not a metric as such. I mean, you gotta look at the performance of your business. But is it a good indicator you're doing the wrong thing? And when you test it, does it always win? Nothing ever always wins, but it's a guiding principle to strive for. Because whenever I've tested it as one, I mean, I don't really test it anymore because I made it up. So I follow my own advice. But yeah, and you know, I find lots of other case studies as well that when you do that, it just works. But that's why you need a dedicated landing page, because you can't just go, hey boss, can we take all the nav away on the website? No, of course you can't. That's why you need a dedicated experience where you have a place where you can apply those rules.
What about using attention ratio in funnels, like e-commerce purchasing funnels? Should we remove all the shit?
You should test removing all the shit, for sure. Yeah, I mean, further down the funnel, giving people, I mean, you see it in a lot of e-com stuff where it used to be that you could, I mean, it's frustrating as hell. You know, when they show the process, but you can't click on it, you can't actually go back often, and that might work. It's not delightful in my mind. I think it's kind of shitty, but it might work. So yeah, I mean.
You mentioned Usability Hub. Are there any other good tips to try and validate ideas before running a full split test?
Yeah, I think of a couple. There's a 6-foot test where, you know, if you stand 6 feet away, like print your page out and put it on the wall, or just have it on the screen and stand 6 feet away. Can you read the headline? Is it clear where and what the call to action is? Right? 2 very simple things there. If you are a new business or something and you're You want to test out the efficacy of your elevator pitch, which is basically your USP. I recommend to entrepreneurs to find the tallest building in town, go there, stand in the elevator all day, and tell people what your page does or what you do as you go up and down until you get people nodding. Then you've got a clear headline or a clear purpose. It's embarrassing as hell, but I have a few friends who've done it.
All right, and last question. Why did you send 90% of your traffic to the challenger in the face test?
Oh, yeah, I should have clarified that. Okay, so why was that? It's because I've had that page live for a year, and I know how it converts. So I still want to put some traffic there to make sure there was no ambiguity, but I wanted to get the result faster, so I pumped most of it through the treatment page. And it did. Like the original converted the same as it had done all year. So it was just to speed up the test.
Thank you, Oli.